Today we're driving the new 2023 BMW i7. This is the new electrified 7 Series. Shares all the body panels with the regular 7 Series that's powered by an internal combustion engine, but this is fully electric. It'll do 308 miles on a full charge on the 21-inch wheels. On the standard 19s, it'll do 318 miles. It has 536 horsepower, dual motor, all-wheel drive that is rear biased, which is nice. This costs 120 grand starting MSRP. As tested, we're at $152,000. A lot of options. I'm not going to go through everything in this video, but we'll list it in the description and you guys can peruse through the spec sheet. The design here definitely isn't subtle, and I think that was BMW's goal from the get-go. This is probably about the best looking 7 Series spec that I've seen thus far. You can really spec these out to some crazy configurations with two-tone paint and everything. This is a little bit more understated and classy, and I do like the 21-inch wheels. All right, so we're gonna walk you around this today, show you what it looks like inside and out. We'll take it for a drive, and I'll give you guys some thoughts on what it's been like to live with this week. Some notable features. This has the BMW individual interior, so it has the cashmere wool seats, which are super baller. We've got nice, soft floor mats down there. This interior is kind of similar to the iX. We get automatic opening and closing doors. And a whole lot of tech inside this BMW i7. So, a lot of haptic buttons, or actually they're not even really haptic buttons, they're just touch controls that make a little audible beep when you press them, from opening the glove box to, like we saw earlier, opening and closing the doors. There's some cool party tricks. You can open all the doors at once. Look at that. Very cool. You can open and close them individually. Kind of neat, kind of pointless, but really, really cool. Let's see, we've got some drive modes, driving assistance. This has very cool driving assistance tech. We'll talk about that once we get on the road. We've got a bunch of different drive modes: personal, sport. Feel my bolsters tighten up a little bit there. Ambient lighting integrated into the crystal here. Efficient. And there's some really cool settings in here, like the theater mode, which we'll explore from the back seat. This is also kind of the ultimate chauffeur's car. We've got plush head cushions back there, a 32-inch monitor, which is pretty cool, or maybe it's 31.3, can't remember. Just gloss, crystal, screens everywhere in this interior. This massive 2-spoke wheel, Bowers & Wilkins sound system. Yeah. A lot of really neat features and stuff in this i7. Let's walk you around just a little bit more, and we'll spend some more time in this front seat, show you guys around that. So there's multiple ways to open this door. You can open it manually or yourself, and it makes kind of a weird motor noise. And there's also actually a physical latch down here that's very well hidden. Or you can just press this button right here, and the door will open for you. Now, closing the door, you can either close it yourself, or this has been a little bit finicky this week. You can hold it and the door will automatically close. Now, there are sensors all around the car that sense how far away the i7 is to other vehicles, to other people. So if I were to press this now and open the door, it would stop right before it touched me and leave enough room for a vehicle or a person to pass through. Getting a little view of the taillights here. Here's your charge port. This can charge at a max speed of 195 kilowatts, which is pretty fast. 10 to 80% in about 34 minutes, about 80 miles in 10 minutes at a DC fast charger. No frunk in this i7. just a massive big engine cover. Again, shared body panels with the 7 Series. We get this massive grille that is also illuminated, and there are slats that will open and close depending on how much cooling the vehicle needs. This also rides on air suspension. It can raise up for added ground clearance. Let's check out the trunk. Kind of a tiny trunk space back here. Only 11 cubic feet, but there's some more room underneath, which is nice. Probably can fit a set of golf clubs back there. That's all you need to know. Okay, let's get into the back seat. This is where things get fun and exciting in this i7. Just listen to how quiet it is in this interior. Pretty amazing stuff. So you've got all of your controls right here for your back seat comfort. There's a center console, which is just a traditional center console. You've got your climate dials, or at least air vent dials, but everything you control right here in this little display. So we're going to turn our rear climate control on medium. You can control your heated seats. You get heated and ventilated seats. We also get heated armrests back here. Massage. You can see there's some ambient lighting too. You can control audio, blinds, and of course the coolest feature, theater mode. So all the blinds rise, making the back of this i7 as dark as possible. You can connect to 5G and basically have Amazon Fire TV. You can watch Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, and unfortunately it's not connected to an account right now, so we can't really do anything back here, but it's cool to see and cool to show. So we can fold that up. There's also a pretty cool recline mode. So if we go into seats, this is the lounge position engaging here. Takes its sweet time, but this front seat, or the front passenger seat, basically goes all the way up to that front windscreen. There we go. Headrest is rising, footrest is coming out. There we go. And if you're a taller passenger than I am, the footrest will come in nice and handy. But yeah, pretty comfortable back here. This feels good. And then we have individual seating adjustments. There's rear massage in the back of this i7. That's pretty wild. Seat climate controls, we've shown you all that. Lots to explore in this car. Pretty cool experience from the back seat, and a pretty cool experience from the driver's seat as well, which we will show you here in a few. All right, let's put everything back to the way it was. Let's take a moment just to appreciate this interior. The build quality, the fit, the finish, the materials, cashmere seats, the thick carpets. I mean, this i7, I think, is doing modern luxury better than most these days. The tech in here can be a little bit overwhelming, but once you familiarize yourself with it, it does get better. And a lot of the settings in this i7 are kind of set it and forget it once you get into this car. And I think as an owner, it would be a little bit easier to live with than it is for me over the course of a week, and just kind of getting familiarized with everything. All right, so let's step out and hop on the front seat. We'll give you one more look at the i7's snoot. This is such a massive hood. This really does have a lot of road presence. This thing is enormous. It weighs 6,000 pounds, 536 horsepower. It's no slouch. Only thing I don't like about these automatic doors is it's so much quicker and more convenient just to open and close them yourself. And when you do, it makes this kind of weird motor noise. All right, we'll show you around this interior a bit more. Cup holders down here, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, wireless charging. And you've got some iDrive controls right here. You've got your crystal selector, and the controls are in a little bit different location than they are in a lot of other BMWs, similar to the iX in here. Center console, a couple of USB-C ports. You've got your air vent direction right here. At least that's not hidden in the infotainment. And then we've got our typical iDrive 8 here, which is really no different from any other modern BMW. I don't love this system. I wish we had more physical controls. We do have a couple constant controls though, with temperature, and when you're in CarPlay, you have a constant home button, which is nice. So I appreciate that. You also get a few shortcuts up here that you can select and customize. I like leaving it on doors and windows. You can select driving settings. We have iconic sounds turned on. Those were composed by Hans Zimmer, which is pretty cool. All of your seat comfort settings, aside from just the basic functions, up, down, forward, back, backrest, they're all in the infotainment. So you can control your headrest height, lumbar, everything. Massage. You can raise the suspension with this button right here for added ground clearance, winter driving, off-road, etc. And you've got all these drive modes. So personal, they'll change the ambient lighting. They'll change whether the sunroof is open or closed. Interesting thing about this is it folds forward. Kind of a neat pattern on the roof there. Sport mode. That'll change the lighting in here, tighten those bolsters. Also, when you get into this i7, it doesn't automatically start up when you get into it. I wish it did. You have to press the stop-start button. Efficient mode will be completely silent. And then there's some cool modes like expressive. That turns on the massage. Relax. That'll put all the shades and blinds open. And then digital art, which is pretty wild. A lot of purple, very cool display, and it'll kind of show some digital art pieces here from an artist, Quantum Garden. Let's see, we gotta turn off these massaging seats. Those are still going strong. Seat comfort, massage, off. A lot of deep menus in this i7. They even have a menu for your following distance when you're on the highway, which is a bit strange. So let's say you need to go and you want to follow someone a little bit closer or a little bit more farther away. You have to go into distance control, and it's about 4 or 5 different presses to select that. So you're going to want to just select your preferred distance and stick to it, I guess. Wish that could just be here on the steering wheel. This can park itself. We have lots of camera views. The whole safety suite. It gets driving assistance plus, which on the highway is pretty awesome. We have a Bowers and Wilkins sound system, which is fantastic. Let's see what else. You can fold down the rear screen with the press of a button there. Fold it back up. Ambient lighting settings. So I guess there are a few quick access controls around here. They're just kind of hidden in some different places. Let's see here. Let's go. I want to make all of the blinds and displays go up. And you can't drive with this 31-inch display down without the rear blackout screen up, for safety reasons, so people behind you aren't watching TV and not paying attention to the road. Okay, I think I've pretty much got everything how I want it. Let's go for a drive and see what this i7 is like on the road. Steering is feather light in this thing, and of course we get 4-wheel steer, so it has a really good turning circle. Setting off, you get 2 driving settings with 1 pedal drive and regen. So you just get a regular coast mode. That's what it defaults to when you put it into drive, or you pull back after you put it in drive and it goes into B, which is a one pedal drive. That's how I've mostly been driving this i7 this week. Really nice tuning here with that system. Lift off the accelerator pedal and we get a lot of regen. Pretty quick off the line, especially in sport mode. 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. But really, the most impressive thing about this i7 is just how quiet and comfortable and luxurious it is. It's kind of a shame that it looks the way it does, because this is just one of the most amazing EV driving experiences on sale today. This car is next level luxury from BMW. I think it's a much better execution than the EQS. It drives a whole lot better. It maintains a little bit of fun to drive factor. It's Rolls-Royce comfortable and quiet. Let's put it into efficient mode. That'll turn off all the Hans Zimmer noises. Head-up display is gorgeous. And we'll go into sport. A lot of mechanical grip. And a whole lot of power. Let's engage cruise control here. Assisted driving. This will auto lane change for you. You can switch into Assist Plus when you're on a highway. The lane changes are a little bit aggressive in typical BMW fashion, and you do have to keep your hand on the wheel, but as long as you're looking ahead, hands on the wheel, this thing will just run on its own forever. Incredibly quiet at speed on the highway. And it's all very easy to deactivate at a moment's notice if you want to take control. So yes, a lot of deep menus, a lot of tech, but pretty good assisted driving tech here too. On the highway, on longer trips, this thing is insanely comfortable. Couple the quietness, the luxury, the comfort with the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, and you've got a pretty cool recipe here. I love all the inputs in this i7, from the turn signal stock feel, to the steering, to the way the shifter feels when you pull back on it. I wish there were some more physical controls in this instead of the kind of haptic buttons. These are really difficult to see in broad daylight in the middle of the day. There's a lot of reflections. So not the biggest fan of this kind of crystal display here, but at the end of the day it works. And if you own this car, you'd be pretty familiar with it. While we're sitting here, let's just do a quick test of the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. Got a volume controller down here. Seats vibrate as well. This is the kind of sound system that you hear sounds from songs that you've never really heard before. Saw the Assist Plus system get a little bit confused back there. It beeped at me to let me know it didn't really know what was going on. So it's not perfect, but if you have good weather, good conditions, straight road, not a lot of traffic around you, it's a really nice system to use. I will say, all the tech, all the stuff going on in this i7 is a little bit overwhelming at first. Let's play with sport mode just a little bit more, just because it sounds so cool. Brake pedal tuning's nice. No complaints there. Let's drive this in drive a little bit. Turn off regen. Yeah, it'll just coast forever. And it will have kind of situational awareness with its level of regenerative braking. So if we're in drive and we're approaching a vehicle, it will kind of automatically slow us down to match that vehicle's speed, which is nice. Otherwise, though, if no one's around you, it'll just coast forever. That is a setting that you can turn on and off if you so choose. This i7 is very quick around town. Just instant on and off throttle. Tons of torque. Dynamically, this is a fantastic EV to drive. It's kind of fun. It's super comfortable. Suspension in efficient mode, and pretty much any mode besides sport mode, is almost boat-like. It's kind of floaty, but it's very cool. All right, pretty good point to wrap things up here. Some final thoughts on the BMW i7. There's a lot to like here, and I think a lot to dislike. I'm going to let you guys be the judge of how this thing looks and its aesthetics, but I really don't know what BMW is doing with some of their designs these days. Otherwise, this car is really, really good. Mind-blowing in some ways. In other ways, it's a little bit tedious and too much in terms of tech. It's a bit overwhelming. As a vehicle to drive and spend time in, you really have to be familiar with your settings, with what you want to do in this vehicle, and there are some shortcuts, and you can use BMW Voice or whatever it's called to talk to the car, but I found that is just as frustrating and tedious as actually going in the menus, if not more so, and takes more time. So you have to kind of be aware that there's a learning curve here, and there are a lot of things to accomplish that are hidden pretty deep in menus. But that's pretty typical for a lot of vehicles in this class right now, and there are some physical quick access controls kind of interspersed throughout this interior. I just wish we had more physical buttons and the organization of them was better done. Otherwise, the driving experience here, I really don't have many complaints about it. This thing drives awesome. I love the steering. I love the luxuriousness of this. This feels like a really nice modern interpretation of what Rolls-Royce and Bentley and some of the really high-end luxury brands should be coming out with, but haven't quite yet, and at a price that is half, if not a third or a quarter of what those brands will probably charge. At $150,000 with a ton of options, this feels like a bargain compared to some of the really high-end competition. So add in the electric powertrain, the quietness from that, the ability to charge this pretty quickly. It's 300 plus mile range. There's a lot to like here, and haven't driven all the competition yet, but this BMW i7 is a really, really nice option if you can get past the looks. So I think I'll end on that note. Some pretty cool stuff here from BMW. I really like the direction they're going with their electric cars. We'll just do that. Key's kind of neat too. Has a nice weight to it. Yeah, and like I said, this week this car has just gotten a ton of attention. People want to see inside. They want to know what it is. Ambient lighting in here is pretty cool too. Let's see, can we fold our sunroof back? Here we go. We might drive this around just a little bit more, give you guys a taste of what this is like around town. I feel like I'm sitting in a couch on these cashmere wool seats. Everything's just effortless in this i7. I think BMW and Audi are doing the best job with electric vehicle noises between Hans Zimmer's compositions in BMWs and the kind of Tron noises that the Audi stuff is making. These things sound pretty cool. Headlight performance at night is pretty impressive. Again, a lot of those settings are in the screen as far as auto high beams, etc. steering returns beautifully back to center. Climate menu gets pretty deep and complicated, but there's a lot of settings. Heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats. You can set all this to kind of automatically do its thing. I kind of wish the screen were a little bit bigger so you could multitask with some constant climate settings, but it is what it is. All right, I think it's about all I wanted to show you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Stay tuned for some more videos coming later this week. And if you haven't already, follow us on Twitch for live streams. And you can watch all previous live streams if you become a TheTopher channel member on YouTube. That's it for this one. We'll see you guys later. Take care.